right, and I am Jackie Breedlove Harness with Community Partnership of the Ozarks and President of North Springfield Betterment Association. We're going to introduce our speakers here in just a bit, but thank you all for coming. We know you have very, very, very busy schedules right now, so we appreciate it. Just a few announcements. This is our 50th anniversary for NSBA this year. We were supposed to have a great big celebration in June, and then July, and then August, and then September, and we don't know when we're going to do that. It may be in our 51st year, but we are going to get together, we are going to celebrate, and we are thankful that we have been here for 50 years, improving the quality of life for everybody in Springfield and our surrounding communities, not just North Springfield. North Springfield is the gateway to the Ozarks, and we are proud of what we do, and we are proud of our membership, and we are proud of North Springfield altogether. So again, thank you all for being here and for being patient with us. This is our first meeting back together as a group, and we're going to plan to get together at some point and have a big party and celebration. So thank you all for coming today. I'm going to bring Matt Hudson up now. He's going to give some membership updates and announcements.
Good afternoon. So I wanted to let you know, first of all, thank you for everyone who RSVP'd. We really pulled together. This is an all-volunteer board and trying to figure out how to make this work. And thank you again to Jordan and the team at Doubletree. We will continue to do RSVPs through our form that we submitted. Many of you submitted to be a part of the text reminder group, but just so we can have an accurate count and not over or under prepare meals. So if you be looking for that in the future, we'll be holding those events here for the indefinitely until we kind of figure out what this is going to look like. But I appreciate all of you that did that. Just look for that about a week or so out from the next meeting, which is the second Thursday of the month. Those of you who are prepaid lunch folks, there's not a ton of you that are here, but if you are, we will make sure that we give you proper credit moving forward for the 5 luncheons that were missed, depending on if your company paid for 1 or more. And as far as 2021 invoicing goes, you will receive a membership renewal invoice between the middle of November and the middle of December. Those go out just kind of automatically. And we are doing a 50% reduction for 2021. So if you all of you paid for 1 whole year, rather than trying to figure out how to credit that back, we're going to extend next year will be 50% of what your membership rate was, unless you choose to change categories and you would owe the difference. There's business and individual membership things, so you'll have some choices. So be looking for that, but we are promising to take care of you in terms of the time and money missed. And was there anything else? Anyway, just appreciate you getting those returned back in a timely fashion. This does, our membership, like most, do fundraising types of things. Membership is a portion of that fundraising. So those dues go for lots of things, including production of the newsletter, keeping our website up to date, and then the activities that we'll someday get to host. So anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you, Matt, for those updates. A couple other updates. Our board did vote to extend board members and officers for a year with the pandemic and not being able to meet in person. We weren't able to have a general membership vote, so the board decided that extending those officers and board members was the best course of action for the moment. We will also be giving our annual awards that we normally give in June soon. We'll see how things go. We didn't want to do it our first meeting back, trying to get our feet back under us as we get together and meet again, but we will be giving those out soon as long as things don't take a turn again. We'll plan to do that. Also, Justin Pippins, who is a board member, mentioned women's conference with SCORE, and we are going to give some tickets away to that raffle today. If you are a woman in attendance today, please get your business card or your information to Justin. Justin, raise your hand or stand so they know who they're giving those to. Give those to Justin today, and then we will draw at the end of the meeting today who wins those tickets to that conference. All right, I think that's it for announcements. We're going to bring Helen Votaw up. She's going to give away our Residential Betterment Award this month.
Oh.
I met Kristen and Travis Atwell through our church, and when I found out about the renovation they do on homes, I thought, yes, there's a good candidate for me on the residential awards. So we arranged to do the award in April, and in May, and in June, and in July. So we made it in August. And I have Kristen and Travis here. They have renovated a house on North Howard. What's the street? 2803 North Howard. And so they're going to tell you about the renovation and a little bit about the house and their story.
Thank you all for having us this afternoon. We, as Miss Helen said, we met at the church, and it's been good getting to know her.
A little louder.
Sorry, she reminded me to project. So this is me projecting. We live, this is my wife, Kristen, as she said. We have 2 small children. We have a 5-year-old boy and a 7-year-old little girl, both of whom are very active in helping us in our remodeling projects. They love to scamper around under the house and bring me tools and the like. We live just south of Kearney, and as aspiring followers of Christ, we've been active in befriending and counseling people on the north side. But we also own our about 8 rental houses here in North Springfield. And my wife Kristen had been trying to find one on just in the neighborhoods just north of Kearney, and so she found this one on North Howard, and she found a good deal on it. We bought it and began remodeling. Well, getting ahead of myself, we began evicting roaches and then removing the trees hanging on the house and removing the bushes that covered the front half of the house and the like. And then we the updates that we did on the house, we were then free to start the fun stuff of we crawled around under the house, as I said, jacking up sagging floors, and we updated the furnace, the electric panel, the flooring, siding, and we added central AC and a half bathroom. That's the house. It's worked well for us as a rental. We rented it to a ministry that is using it as a recovery house for men, and that's that. We're currently working on a remodel for us, and then after that's finished, we hope to buy another property and do the same there. But thank you again for having us.
Hold this, and he's going to take a picture.
Thank you so much, and we appreciate you being in North Springfield, and housing stock's pretty important, especially the safe, decent, and affordable housing and rentals, so thank you very much for what you're doing for our residents and our neighbors. Next, we're going to bring up Kim Rippey. She's going to introduce our speakers.
Hi, everybody. We have 2 special guest speakers today, and I want to start by telling you a little bit about Dr. Nicole Holt. She is the Deputy Superintendent of Academics. Dr. Holt's career spans 16 years of classroom and leadership experience, and we thank you for that. She assumed the position of Deputy Superintendent of Academics on July 1st of this year. Prior to that date, she served 2 years as Director of Learning and Development for SPS and was responsible for providing robust professional growth opportunities for the district's educators and leaders, aligning training and resources in support of student academic outcomes. Dr. Holt served 3 years as principal of Sherwood Elementary, 6 years principal at Holland Elementary, and 5 years as a classroom teacher at Robertson Elementary. So you are probably know what we do over here. Dr. Holt is a proud alumni of Springfield Public Schools, graduating from Glendale High School in 2000. Dr. Holt obtained a bachelor's degree in early education and elementary education from Evangel. in 2004, and master's degree in education administration at Missouri State in 2008, and a doctorate in education leadership from the University of Missouri in 2018. So hold the applause, because then there was Dr. John Jungmann, superintendent of Missouri's largest school district, which serves 25,000 students and employs 4,000 individuals. He began working for Springfield Public Schools in July of 2014. He focuses on every learner every day. Dr. Jungmann leads SPS in efforts to ensure all students are prepared for tomorrow by providing engaging, relevant, and personalized educational experiences. In October of 2016, he was named Missouri Superintendent of the Year and was also invited to represent SPS in the Digital Promise League of Innovative Schools. He was also named 2016 Administrator of the Year by Missouri School Public Relations Association. He also completed his AASA's National Superintendent Certification Program in 2015 as a member of the inaugural class. Dr. Jungmann's previous professional experience includes serving 1 year as superintendent and 1 year as duty superintendent for Liberty Public Schools and 4 years as superintendent of the Monette R1 School District. He is a 1998 graduate of Missouri Southern State University and obtained his master's in education and specialist in educational administration degrees from Missouri State University. He earned a doctorate in education from the University of Arkansas in 2006, and I can't wait to hear what this school year has planned. Thank you, Dr. Jungmann.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. It is great to be with you all in person, and I am so honored to have Dr. Holt joining me for the presentation. As I do every year, I apologize up front for those that were at Good Morning Springfield. You get to kind of rehash this. So we go on the road and give this in a number of different spots, and some of you show up in the same place or in different places. So I apologize in advance, and also always want to start by saying thank you for your support of our kids and our community. It's always important to have community engaged, never more important than now as we think about how school has changed in the spring and how school is going to change in the fall. So I know our partnership may need to shift a little bit. Attendance still a priority. Attendance still one of the things that will make school go. But we have to be careful on how we incentivize that, to be honest, right now, because we want to be thoughtful about the consequences of students showing up that might be ill right now as we get school kicked off this year. So our team members will be thinking with you about how we do that differently if that conversation hasn't already started. And then the other thing I would say before we get this rolling is it's a great time to be in the north side. Again, the last 2 days I've been able to be at groundbreaking events at Williams Elementary and Hillcrest. We'll talk a little bit about the projects that are underway, but more importantly, the projects that are coming. That's going to be nearly $50 million in projects that are going to happen over the next 2 years. And we think there's probably one more coming your way. We haven't officially announced that one yet, but we'll stay tuned because I think there's more opportunities for large investments in the north side schools. So with that, I want to say good afternoon, and thanks for allowing us to join you. As you know, we're preparing for the start of 2020-2021 school year, truly a year like none other. Never seen anything like it before. While things will certainly look different, our focus on serving students and this community will remain. Day after day and brick after brick, Springfield Public Schools will be steadfast in our commitment to build up this community. Never before has there been a time when we've had more under construction. And I mean more buildings, but I also mean many things more than that. More adaptability, more equity for our under-resourced and underrepresented students, more choice in our learning experiences. We are always building at SPS, and this year we're building more than we've ever done before. And I'm pleased to report that all projects under construction remain aligned with what matters the most to us, and that's our students and their successful futures. 6 years ago, as I entered this system, I stood before you and many others in this community to share my hopes and dreams for SPS and the impact that I thought this district could have on this community. I knew then we had a great district, but we could be even better if we built a more solid foundation and took a few risks along the way. And that's exactly what we've worked to do. Teachers, principals, custodians, nutrition service workers, our bus drivers, our school police, and our other support staff members work in partnership with our community to serve our 25,000 students and their families. Our team members are movers, they're innovators, they're leaders, and they're building up learning from both the inside and outside of our classroom. Our SBS team is laying a firm foundation for academic success and is constructing solutions to very, very difficult problems right now, and we couldn't be more proud of our team. Each year I highlight a focus for the upcoming year, our plan. This year, like all successful construction projects, it begins with quality design, and we've been in redesign mode for the last 5 months. Since last March, SBS has worked to build up supports to help our community. Our team provided childcare for frontline workers when the COVID pandemic started. We served more than 700,000 grab-and-go meals for our students, plus another 75,000 as we ran through our Explore process in seated environments this summer. We provided internet access to more than 2,000 students so that every one of our students could access online learning opportunities, and so much more. The team of nearly 4,000 SBS teachers and support team members worked to adapt quickly and build what our community needed to rapidly provide the support necessary to help students and families. It wasn't perfect, but I don't know much is right now. So I'm so proud of their works. We have continued to adapt and are making changes necessary to start school successfully just over a week from now on August 24th. Some students' first day will be at home, while others will be in classrooms with desks appropriately spaced apart and small class sizes. Students and staff will be wearing masks. Drop-off procedures will be different. Recess will be different. Athletics and activities will be different. But the constant in the midst of uncertainty will be quality learning. That's a must, and we will continue to strive for it. Even when adapting the delivery mode to meet our circumstances, we will not waver from building a better SBS and a better Springfield's future. Like no time in history, we understand that today, nothing is static. Everything we do is constantly changing, and our ability to adapt quickly to changing environments will significantly impact our ability to succeed. So here's our construction report. First, we continue to build choices for our students. Thanks to partnerships throughout our community, the Academy of Fine and Performing Arts, opening in just a few days, is our newest magnet school. It's in partnership with Springfield Little Theater and the Foundation for Springfield Public Schools. And through a year-long experience at AFPA, 50 fifth grade students from across our community are going to experience an exploration in fine and performing arts with a focus on creative thinking, problem solving through the arts integration program. The Academy of Fine and Performing Arts is focused on bringing art to our students and creating art for our community. It's one we've been waiting to do for years, and we're so excited to move our magnet programs forward. A second magnet program, and you can see a picture of what it will be a year from now, was announced this year. The Agra Academy is a partnership with the Dar Family Foundation and Missouri State University. The magnet school is set to open in 2021 at the Dar College of Agriculture and will be an opportunity like none other. 150 4th through 6th grade students will learn about humankind's connection to our food, the vast variety of careers that agriculture can provide, and service learning. In this experience, students will learn in a facility that is designed to enhance their experience through things like demonstration kitchen, outdoor classrooms, lab spaces, and this amazing project is being made possible by a generous donation from Mr. Bill Dar and the Dar Family Foundation, and will impact SBS students in the community for generations to come. And I would say it directly aligns to Northside Impact, as the agricultural work that is happening there is in alignment with the agricultural work that's happening at Hillcrest High School, as we've started our first FFA chapter in the history of Springfield Public Schools just last year. So exciting things in the area of agriculture. These are amazing partnerships. And as I think about other construction projects this year, I'm going to ask Dr. Holt, our new Deputy Superintendent of Learning, to join me so she can talk about learning culture of adaptability in SBS. Much of our work this summer has been focused on creating a more nimble education environment. Nicole, please share with our guests here today a few ways that you have helped build a plan and the people that you've engaged as we work to reopen schools here in just a few weeks.
Thank you, Dr. Jungmann. So the first part that I would have to talk to you about before we get into the options that we're providing to students are the 4 work groups that have been diligently working over the course of June and July to develop plans as we think about our students reentering. So those 4 work groups really were centralized around instruction. How are we going to provide new learning opportunities for our kids amidst what we're facing today? Health and safety. We knew that was going to be a priority for the work, and we organized a work team around that. Communications. How are we going to make sure that people know what's happening both inside of our system and outside of our system? And then we knew that equity and diversity would be a facet of the work as we thought about reentry. And so approximately 70 members of our SPS teams gathered together in June and July and worked diligently to develop a plan. We also utilized the feedback, the initial round of feedback we took from 8,200 of our families and parents about their hopes for what return would look like. And in addition, 1,200 staff members gave input. So not only the 70 that were involved directly with the work team, but the input of that 1,200 staff helped us in alignment with Greene County Health Department to develop and design this plan. So you know now that there are 2 options for learning as students re-enter and return to learning this fall. One is a reduced capacity seated option where we are going to have students back in classrooms, and parents have been able to select that if that aligned with their choice and their family. And then we have a fully virtual option that we're excited to be able to offer not just to our 6-12 students, but to our K-5 students as well. And so the goal of both of those options is to allow our families choice and flexibility in what works and aligns to their particular family dynamic or the choice that works best for them as they think about returning to school. We, I can tell you, are very eager as the executive leaders of this system. Our senior leaders, Laura and Brad, are in the room with you today, principals in this area, as well as, most importantly, our teachers are eager for our 25,000 kids to be coming back on the 24th. And we would love if that were happening in the classroom, but we know that that's not the best and safest option for our kiddos. So we continue to work with the Greene County Health Department and prioritize the health and well-being of our students and of our staff members as we think about returning to learning. I think as the school year progresses, we want you to know that we expect modifications and adjustments to the plan. We will be nimble, as Dr. Jungmann said, to what's happening in our community. And I will tell you, we're asking the same thing of you as community members as we are to our teachers and our families as they enter. We're asking for grace. We're asking for flexibility, and we're asking for high degrees of understanding that you know that we're working in conjunction with organizations to keep everybody safe, but also that you're showing us that understanding to make the best possible learning choices for our kids and our community. So thank you for committing to that as we think about returning to learning in just a couple weeks.
Thanks, Nicole. And some of the other things that are part of that return to learn plan are obviously safety procedures and protocols. So what we've been working on is balancing the impact of a global pandemic, which requires that we provide a safe learning and working environment for our students and our teachers. And the most effective practices we know, you're practicing some of those today, that will contribute to this are social distancing and wearing masks. So masks will be required in all of our pre-K-12 classrooms, and the reason that we're doing the reduced capacity model is so that we can social distance in every one of those classrooms. At SBS, we'll also be doing things like strategically placing desks and limiting group interactions, big assemblies. Activities will be different and much reduced. Bus transportation, that will look different. Extensive cleaning and hygiene measures will also be in place to ensure our buildings and classrooms are disinfected. An emphasis will be placed on proper hygiene practices, lots of hand washing for our students to limit the spread of germs as they go throughout our days with us. SBS, as Nicole mentioned, has worked in coordination with the health department to develop these procedures and plans. I can tell you, as she talked about, I was on with them twice today already. I've been on with them every day this week. We know reopening schools is important to this community. We're trying to find a way to do it effectively, and they are working hand in hand with us to try to make that a successful start. These safety changes will help us continue to serve our students in these unusual times. But at SBS, we're committed to so much more, and one of those other things is equitable opportunities for all of our students. This year, SBS has demonstrated a commitment to equity in more ways than we have ever before. A fifth focus area to our district strategic plan was unanimously supported and approved by our Board of Education in June. Dr. Holt will share a little bit about this plan and how it's expanding supports for under-resourced and underrepresented students.
Thank you again. So Dr. Jungmann just alluded to the addition and adoption of Focus Area 5 to our strategic plan. And there are 5 key strategies that we will begin deployment of this coming year, even amidst what we know about the pandemic and COVID. So the district will really begin to focus on growth and development of equity professional learning. We started that process last year, but we will continue it this year. And it will also include facets of deployment of a diverse workforce. So academic successes and learning supports for under-resourced and underrepresented students will be a portion of the plan. Development and deployment of a culturally relevant academic curriculum. So we'll continue to look at how the curriculum we're providing to our students has representation across all of the diverse student groups that we find in our system. And then really engagement and advocacy efforts for students, staff, and our broader community that are related to diversity and inclusion will be a priority. So our focus areas for the upcoming year around diverse workforce has one really a key initiative this year, and it's called the Grow Your Own initiative. So we're excited that we've been able to hire a coordinator of workforce development, and he will be really working to help bring together local higher education institutes as well as community members to help serve the public school system in growing their own teachers from within this community. So the goal is to increase the racial and cultural diversity of our workforce in SPS. It will increase the number of teachers, staff, and administrators who reflect the racial and cultural diversity found not only within our student groups, but within the community around us. So we will be looking to identify those individuals and create additional support structures and programming for them so that we can have continued success in this journey of finding individuals that can be educators in our profession. So the work of the equity and diversity team is already making a difference in the lives of our students and staff.
Thanks, Nicole. And a perfect example of growing our own, right? I mean, came from SPS classrooms and is now our deputy superintendent, and the talent exists right here within our walls. We just have to identify it and inspire them to go into education and then provide opportunities to advance. And look what happens, right? I mean, Nicole is an amazing team member that's taken really the number 2 position in this system and is running with it, and is going to impact generations of students. So we can't wait to inspire future generations of SPS graduates to be part of our work right here with us. So so excited about the Grow Your Own project. With that, we also know there's other things we're excited about, and we couldn't leave without talking about the big actual construction projects that are underway. And they were authorized by our voters as part of Proposition S in 2019. Before I bring you up to date on some of the specifics of the projects nearing completion, I want to show this video. So progress as promised. 16 months after voters approved Proposition S, we are pleased to report that all projects remain on or under budget and are progressing as planned. On August 24th, we'll welcome students to a new Delaware elementary school and the new Ada Fulbright Early Childhood Center, the first early childhood center constructed for that purpose in Springfield's history. These newly expanded projects, as well as a renovated Sunshine Elementary that will finish up this fall, will provide opportunities for our students that we never dreamed possible in some of these neighborhoods. Ribbon cutting events will be scheduled in September to celebrate completion, so stay tuned and please join us as we celebrate. In addition, we've completed secure entrances in all of our facilities. That was part of our priority list, and to get that done quickly, that means that every SPS building now has a secure double entrance to improve safety of our students and our staff. We've had, and you saw a picture of, Boyd Elementary groundbreaking and construction is underway. That has started. Another great investment in the North Side neighborhoods. Groundbreaking ceremonies, obviously I mentioned, just happened at Williams and Hillcrest, and we are going to be able to complete both phases of Hillcrest. We thought this was going to be a two-phase project, but because bids have continued to come in so competitively, we are going to be able to shrink the time necessary and get all of it done within the first phase of our first bond issue. And then Williams Elementary, if you haven't read the story on that one yet, please know that it's going to be so much more than just an elementary. It's going to have an early childhood hub, and it's going to have a Boys and Girls Club Center that will provide before and after school care for students. So that partnership just continues to expand and provide services for students. Next up, we will have a new Jarrett Middle School will be going out to bid in the next 30 to 60 days, which will be built on the Portland site as soon as it is vacated, so that the Sunshine students can move into their updated building. So I'm confident that the work to build up new and improved safe learning environments will help our students find success this year and in the future. And with that, I'm going to ask Dr. Holt to kind of wrap us up and share some additional comments and celebrations that has really warmed our heart in the last week or two.
So when you think about building on each and every one of the areas that Dr. Jungmann and I have highlighted today, we are living in the responsibility to serve. And what we know is getting this work right on all these fronts matters, because we're in the business of building lives. These students that you see here and that we've talked about today are going to be your future colleagues and employers. They're going to be the next business owner next door, the next banker, the next teacher, the next journalist, the next elected official, right? And so for the last 17 years, I've had the privilege of experiencing the dedication of the staff of SPS to one another, to our students, and to this larger community. For the last 5 months, our employees have been working tirelessly to address a situation that none of us planned to find ourselves in, and honestly probably wouldn't have chosen. But it has taught us lessons that we know are going to make us better for the future. And all of our employees and staff have been unwilling to just get by in this meantime. They have never said that this is good enough, and they've never stopped focusing on the students. We know that our students need us today, tomorrow, and beyond, and we're going to be stronger than before because of the efforts that we've made in this time of uncertainty. As we wrap up today, though, Dr. Jungmann and I couldn't take the opportunity to not talk about what happened last Thursday and Friday. We finally got to award diplomas to the class of 2020. So 1,687 graduates of the class of 2020 waited patiently, and we were very excited to honor them. They hold the distinction of being SPS's largest graduating class, and also reached the highest graduation rate ever in over 93%. So you can clap, because that's amazing. Yes. Just to put that in perspective, to our knowledge, never in the history of SPS has the graduation rate been above 90%. So the class of 2020 and our amazing team of educators and leaders have set a new bar for every class that follows to jump over, and we couldn't be prouder. So please join me in celebrating these graduates.
100%. If you know one of them, I have one of them. I'm going to take her to college next week, but we celebrated a lot this week, or this last weekend, because we've been waiting for that for so long. And those kids, they had so much taken away from them in the end of this school year. We weren't going to let the pandemic take away that final memory. They're resilient. They're going to be great future leaders for us. Life has taught them things that many classes before have never learned before. At a really important time in their life, they were thrown a huge curveball, and they've responded very, very well, and we're so proud of them. This graduation rate is the thing that we metric ourselves on when it comes to the bottom line, because we call it the starting line. If our kids don't hit the diploma, they don't walk out with that, they don't get across the starting line in life very effectively, because we know it's such a limitation of what their future, and we know what life outcomes come without a graduation diploma. So hitting this 93% rate with this class has only propelled us to believe that we can do even better, and I know our team is committed to doing that this year. We're going to build up a better future for SPS. We're going to build up a better future for Springfield, no matter what this pandemic continues to throw at us. Our commitment remains the same, and our team can't wait to get started on August 24th. Thank you.
Thank you to both of you so much. On a personal note, I have one of those graduates from Hillcrest myself, and Dr. Holt happens to still be one of his all-time favorite teachers from Robertson. So just some personal connections and personal thanks. And yes, I was so glad to see SPS work through it and bring that moment finally to all of our grads across our school district. So thank you for working diligently in all areas for our kids. Also, I'd like to think that North Springfield Betterment Association had a little bit of something to do with that attendance rate, that attendance record. We've been supporting those efforts for well over 20 years, and we keep seeing them rise. And so that record over 93%, give yourselves a round of applause for all you do to support our schools and attendance. So, thank you. Before we end today, if you are new, this is your first meeting with us, will you please stand? So thank you all for coming. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And with that, we will adjourn. I just want to say thank you all for coming in and being with us.